We're going to go back to and talk a little bit about Kentucky. Boogie, you were at a pivotal point when they changed the rules about being able to go to the league. You and John were both one and dones over there, at Kentucky. But some say, as we were talking before, you that run with you and John, and then obviously Greg Oden and KD. They say it kind of I wouldn't say save, but some would say save college basketball at the time because there was just a lot of uncertainty what was going on. But your freshman year, 15, 10, 2 blocks, All-American, led the SEC in rebounds. Your team went 35-3, lost to West Virginia in the Elite Eight, who was headed by Coach Joe Mazzulla over there in Boston. He was giving Boogie post work all game, and that's why they lost. But talk to us about your college experience. Obviously, I think I saw you, or did I see you talking about it, or you and John talking about it not too long ago, just about how heartbroken he was when you guys lost, and obviously you were looking towards everything he had done and what was next. But what was that Kentucky run, and how special, while we're talking about Kentucky, is Coach Calipari? Not a ton of one national championship, but we feel like his presence in the game will always be remembered, and probably more than just in the coaching space. I'm sure he seems like a dope dude too. So talk to us about Kentucky, Coach Cal, and your run in college.
Man, college was, one of the best experiences of my life. It was a big transition period for me. Definitely the most fun I've ever had, playing the game of basketball. It was young kids put on a huge, and it's crazy because us going in, I don't even think we realized how big of a stage we were really on. Because if people remember, originally we were going to Memphis. This is when Cal left Memphis going to Kentucky. So
your class was going to go to Memphis with Cal. So you're going for Cal.
I was committed to Memphis. I
didn't know that. So who else? So that was John was committed to Memphis too?
John was still coming along. He hadn't committed. He had to do the grand finale shit. You know what I'm saying? But Bledsoe was coming. We also had at the time Xavier Henry.
Oh, he was nice.
Who ended up absolutely.
Where'd he go to Xavier?
He ended up going to Kansas.
Kansas. Okay.
Once Cal left, he ended up going to Kansas. We followed to Kentucky. I don't know why he didn't follow, but yeah, we went to a situation where the stage was way bigger than we ever expected, and honestly, it was Eric Bledsoe included. And I say we as in us three because we did everything together. Like we figured the shit out together, all of that. But with that being said, it was, we made the best of our situation. It made us grow up, us all coming from similar backgrounds. That was the most relatable thing for us. So that's why I say we kind of figured it out. We weren't, the typical kids that were kind of groomed up to be pros and things of that nature. We were, kids from an environment. We figured out how to make it out, and we made the best of our situation. So college changed us. It turned us into, young adults, young men. And when it came to Cal, that was probably the most important piece for our growth as young men. He prepared us to be pros. He didn't treat us like kids. He didn't treat us like college kids or collegiate athletes. He prepared us to be a pro, so he treated us like one. And he expected us to act as such. So, he put a lot of pressure on us. And, that also determined, if we were ready for this shit or not. And obviously, we passed that test. So, with that, when it comes to Cal and just his ability, to bring the best out of you, help you understand the game as a whole and not just as an individual, because that's a real thing for up and coming hoopers. It's hard for young talented guys to look past themselves when it's time to, really learn how to play the game and be amongst other pros and other talent. So that's something that Cal is not good at, but great at. And, when it comes to Cal, obviously it's, he doesn't have the historic, thing where he's got 20 championships and, typical, Hall of Fame coach thing. But even though he has one championship, I kind of put Cal in that, that Allen Iverson type, category where his influence on the game and what he brought to the culture and how he changed the culture. And I think it's something that's forever lasting. And I honestly feel like Cal was way ahead of his time. And it's the same thing that goes with Allen Iverson, because you look at today's game, and how people, carry themselves, dress, the tattoos, the fashion. It's all good. You know what I mean? So, and he was the pioneer for that. So I think Cal is the pioneer for this one and done thing, really embracing it. To what we see today, to now, kids are getting paid just to go to college. You know what I'm saying? I think Cal was, and I'm not saying, and obviously it sounds like I'm saying something otherwise. That wasn't the case. Well, at least not for me. But I think he was the pioneer of this shit. And I think he stapled himself in, basketball history, college basketball history. And, he's more than deserving of that.
Even though he only has one championship book, I think he'll still be remembered as one of the greatest coaches of all time when it comes to
Absolutely.
college, Similar,
Absolutely.
obviously,
Hell
AI,
yeah.
only 2 years, no championships, but he'll still be one of the greatest players. And I think another thing, point you touched on, which was great, Cal embraced that one and done. A lot of these bigger universities still have a hard time doing it. Duke doesn't like it. I know UCLA doesn't like it. Like these bigger schools, these traditional schools don't like the one and done, but Cal embraced that shit and made it fun. And that's why I feel like they still continue to get these top players, because they are okay with, hey, come in. I'm like you said, from the rip, I'm gonna treat you like a pro. And if at the end of this year, if it's time to go, it's time to go. And it was a fun year. And I think kids appreciate that, because like I said, UCLA is not big on the one and dones. I mean, Mick Cronin doesn't really even barely plays freshmen at UCLA. And I think that kind of slows down the process of even getting some of these top kids. So currently, Cal has 47 players in the league, and 6 of this past season All-Stars came from Coach Cal. You know what I mean? So not only that, guys signing max deals. What do you think, Boogie, as obviously someone who was around him and coached by him, and he's still, a part of your life? What do you think his secret to success is? Is the way he's real, his ability to communicate with you guys? What makes Cal so special?
First off is honesty. Kyle ain't putting sugar on shit and trying to sell it to you. You know what I mean? So he gonna be 100% straight up with you. And he also has an eye for talent. He knows what fits his system. He knows what he knows what type of players he can bring the best out of. He knows what type of players he can, increase their abilities. All of these things. So he has an eye for that. And I think he just has a talent for managing talent. Like that's a real thing
That's a
that
talent
a
in
lot of
itself.
coaches.
A lot
It
of
is,
talent.
but a
Yeah.
lot of coaches lack that, and they
Facts.
struggle with that part
Yep.
of coaching. That's something that doesn't get highlighted enough. So with those things, I think that's what you get out of Cal. And as a player and as a young kid at one point trying to become a pro and get to that next level, that was something that meant the world to me, that I could have a coach that wasn't gonna tell me a lie and tell me everything I wanted to hear, and also just be straight up like, look, you do this and this, I can help you become a pro, but it's also on you to do this and this.
Absolutely.
Now I can lead you to the water, but it's up to you to go
And make
drink
you
it.
drink,
You know what I
right.
mean? And that's one of the things I appreciated mostly about Cal.
For sure.
That motherfucker did lie to me though. He did lie to me in my recruitment. That motherfucker told me I was gonna be bringing the ball up. Man, I tried in my first practice. Man, I didn't even turn the ball over. He blew the whistle, stopped the practice. He like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I got John Wall, the projected #1 point guard, coming out, and I got my fucking center bringing the ball up. And in that moment, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker lied to me, bro. Like, but in actuality, that shit helped me. It opened up other areas of my game. It helped me understand how to be a big when I needed to be, and it helped me balance out my talent. So in a way, it helped in the long run.